Okay, newly announced Trump accounts. Let's talk about whether they're worth it for your family or not. If you've got kids, grandkids, or even a baby on the way, a brand new federal program called Invest America, it's also known as the Trump accounts, plus a $6.25 billion gift from Michael and Susan Dell just changed the money landscape for children in the US. In this video, I'll break down what Trump accounts are, how your kids may be able to get $1,000 or $250 of free money invested for them, and the questions you should ask your own advisor so you don't miss out if your family qualifies. A quick reminder, this video is for educational and or entertainment purposes only. This is not legal or financial advice. I'm DK, and on the Grow Plan Live channel, we make estate planning and generational wealth basics feel less scary and more doable. Here's what we'll cover today: what Trump accounts actually are and how they work, who is most affected, especially parents, grandparents, and caregivers. Simple examples so you can see how the $1,250 pieces fit together, and questions you can take to your own advisor or attorney. Regardless of your political affiliation, this could possibly mean free financial contributions to your child's future, and the money can reportedly be used for other things besides education. So it might be worth it to stay tuned to find more out about these accounts. Let's unpack everything. Okay, so what's new? Under the recent federal tax and spending bill, the government created a new tax deferred account that's an investment account for children called the Trump account. It's formally part of a program known as Invest America. It's for babies who are U.S. citizens and are born from January the 1st, 2025 through December 31st of 2028. Families can open one of these accounts and receive a one-time $1,000 deposit from the U.S. Treasury. Currently, there's no income limit for the household to qualify to request the $1,000. Families can also open Invest America accounts for kids under 18 who were born before 2025. Those kids don't get the $1,000 government gift, but parents, grandparents, employers, and others can still contribute money into their account. Here are the key mechanics. Families can start opening these accounts in early 2026. As of now, we don't have an exact date because I think there's still things being finalized. And then you can begin contributing money to this account on July the 4th, 2026. In order to open an account, you'll set up and manage that account until the child turns 18, and you'll open the account with Form 4547 from the IRS. This form will allow you to open the account and also to request the initial $1,000 contribution for eligible babies. You'll fill out the child's information, and this is hot off the press, so currently the IRS has a draft version of Form 4547. They'll release the final version at a future date, but for right now, I'll link the draft version in the comments. Beyond the $1,000 government seed money, up to $5,000 per child per year can be deposited from all sources combined. Employers can chip in up to $2,500 per year, tax free to the employee, and that counts toward the $5,000 cap. It's also been mentioned that there may be certain contributions from cities and tribal governments and nonprofits that may not count toward the $5,000 limit. We've got just only certain information on that now, so that'll be something to check into more later. Those contributions that don't count toward the limit of $5,000. And here's where I put on my HR hat. You can use this information to your advantage. Next year, when your employer does a survey where they ask you what benefits you want, you may want to pull yourself together with some of your other coworkers, and you all may want to consider asking your employer to contribute X amount of dollars to your child's Investment America account. Now, some employers may do this automatically, but if they don't, maybe something to consider. Reportedly, this contribution does not count as income, so it should not have an impact on your personal paycheck. And so it's another benefit like tuition reimbursement, medical insurance, and that's what we've been told this time. Once the money is in the account, the funds must be placed into vehicles like index mutual funds or EFTs that track something like the S&P 500. And those investment fees are capped at 0.1% per year. The money is locked in until that child turns 18. And I want to cover at this time, before that child turns 18, they won't be able to withdraw those funds unless you meet one of a very few exceptions. Those exceptions currently are you can roll over that Invest America account into another Invest America account with a different brokerage. So, it's a different brokerage firm holding that same account. The second reason that there's an exception for withdrawing those funds, there's some type of disability related rollover allowed on ABLE accounts the year the child turns 17. So that's disability specific. The third one is a distribution if the beneficiary was to pass away. So those are the only three exceptions right now, so that money coming out of that account before that child turns 18. After age 18, though, the beneficiary can use those funds for what's called qualified expenses. At this time of this taping, the qualified expenses are education, home ownership, and that can be via down payment. Number three is entrepreneurship or starting business capital. Or number four would just be they would just leave the money in the account and allow it to continue to grow. At age 18, that account will start following the traditional IRA rules with regard to taxes and laws. So that's how that would move forward at age 18. So now you say, hey, that's fine for some folks, but hey, DK, I've got this 3-year old that's watching Coco Melon and Peppa Pig. They're asking for merch. Why do I care? I got you. Or should I say, again, the Dale's got you. And by the way, hit that subscribe button. Thank you kindly. Michael and Susan Dale are putting $6.25 billion into Invest America, and that works out to $250 per child for 25 million children. That money's earmarked again for most US kids who are who are 10 and younger who were born before 2025, so they don't qualify for that $1,000 government gift window. The $250 contributions are made into the accounts that follow the same general rules. They need to be invested in certain, types of broad stock funds, locked into their 18, and it converts to a traditional IRA if the money is not used by 18. You think of it this way. The government built a new bucket specifically for kids, long-term investor. And now that big private donor is going to help fill that bucket for millions of children who otherwise would not get the government's $1,000. Also, if you're a Dell employee or you know a Dell employee, you might want to let them know about a corporate match for every child that's born between January the 1st, 2025 and December the 31st, 2028. And this is for their US based employees. So that's a separate match for their employees. So I just want to do a little check here. Do you currently save for a child in any account, a 529 account, a custodial brokerage, or something else? If so, tell me the kind of account you use or want to use in the comments so I'll know what to cover more in future videos. Okay, so let's talk about who's most impacted at this point. Not every family is going to be touched by the Invest America account in the same way. Here's who might care the most. Group one will be parents of babies born between 2025 and 2028. If your child's a US citizen born in that window, you can potentially own and open up a Trump account and get that $1,000 government deposit as soon as those accounts become available. Group two would be kids, again, that are 10 and under, born before 2025. Since they don't qualify for the $1,000 seed, they'll be the primary target of the $250 Dell contribution for up to 25 million kids. And priority goes to younger kids if that demand is high. Okay. Next set we would talk about is kids who are older, but they're under 18 still. Happened is the Dell family decided to have basically a priority here. The kids that are now 10 and under will be the first group, but they have made it known that if for some reason they have money left over from the initial set of kids 10 and under, The funds will then be opened up to kids that are older than 10 that are US citizens. So that's also something to consider, because you can still open that Trump account even for your teen, but there's no automatic government $1,000, like I said. So you can open the account and the Dell money may still be given to older kids. It just depends. Right now there's no way to know exactly how many people are going to actually apply for this in a certain time for, and we don't know yet what that cutoff is before they would open the money up to the kids that are over 10. Also, group four would be, even if you qualify, financial experts are saying that the investment account, you may not be the best place for your own personal contributions. Because think about it this way: you've got different buckets here. You've got the government giving you a contribution, and the ones that don't qualify for government, some people might qualify for the Dale contribution, so that's a second one. Then you've got other people contributing, also your employer contributing, then your own personal contributions. When you think about you contributing to your child's account, they're saying that you have to look and weigh the options on whether it's good or not. Because keep in mind, you still got 529 plans and custodial brokerage accounts that are out there, and because the withdrawals are taxed here differently, you may find that the trade-offs may or may not work for your family. In many cases, the main attraction with this Invest America account is that it's free money. It's $1,000 or $250 rather than the account, you know, not having that initial seed money. So that's really the attraction for a lot of people here. And of course, as always, you always want to check with your legal and your financial advisors. And if you see your family in any of these groups, listen closely to the next couple of examples that we'll go over for these real life examples. So, in example one, we've got Alex and Jordan. They have a baby born in March 2026. Their child's a U.S. citizen, and both parents have Social Security numbers, so their baby reportedly fits the Invest America account eligibility rules. They file IRS Form 4547, open the account once they're allowed to in 2026, and the U.S. Treasury seeds the account with $1,000. From there, they could contribute up to $5,000 a year in that Trump account, combined from family, friends, and their employer. And their employer, like I said before, can add up to $2,500 tax free as part of their benefits, all invested into low cost things like index funds. That money's locked until the child turns 18, and they can be used for things like education, a first home down payment, or starting a business, or leave it invested in that account like a traditional IRA. Bottom line, if they did nothing else, Alex and Jordan's child at least has $1,000 long-term stock market investment started for them. But Alex and Jordan still need to compare whether they want to put their savings into that Invest America account or to use something like a 529 plan instead. Second scenario, Brianna and Sean are 38. They're parents of an 8-year-old born in 2017. Since their child was born before 2025, they don't qualify for the $1,000 government deposit. But their child is under 10, and so it puts them in that core group that the Dales were targeting with their $250 account contributions. So here's what that looks like. The couple opens a qualifying account for the child when the program starts. If their child is selected within the Dale initiative, $250 gets deposited into that account under the same rules. It's invested in broad U.S. stock funds, locked in until age 18, and then usable for things like education or a first home. Practically speaking, Brianna and Sean now have a decision to make. Do they add more of their own money into this account? Or do they keep using a 529 or a custodial brokerage where the tax treatment might be more favorable for their goals? Or do they do both? That's the kind of question you'll want to walk through with your financial planner. Third case study, Carlos and Mariella. They have three grandkids, one born in 2026, one born in 2022, and one born in 2010. The 2026 grandchild can qualify for the $1,000 government seed if their parents open a Invest America account. The 2022 grandchild is under 10 and born before 2025, so they may qualify for the $250 Dell contribution if the funds are still available and their family opens an account. The 2010 grandchild is older than 10, so they may only get the Dell money if there's leftover funding after the kids 10 and under get the funding and that's been requested. But the family can still open an account for that child that's over 10, but there won't be any guaranteed seed money. So for Carlos and Mariella, the big question is, should they send gifts into these investment accounts or a 529 plan or a custodial brokerage account? Or should they do some mix of all three accounts? Again, whether these moves make sense depends on income, taxes, college plans, home ownership goals, and overall estate planning. There's a lot of factors that you'll walk through, and of course, you can walk through those with a financial professional. At this time, I'd like to invite you to join my free school where we discuss all things generational wealth and estate planning. I'll answer comments on this channel and we'll continue the discussion in my free school. The link is in the description. Okay, so now let's talk about how this all connects to estate planning. It's got a lot to do with estate planning, actually, and here's a few connections. First of all, beneficiary designations and ownership. These accounts are open and controlled by a parent or guardian while the child is a minor. And at 18, they essentially become the child's money and can function like a traditional IRA. That means you want to be clear who controls the account now and how it fits into your broader plan for passing down generational wealth. Second thing, legacy planning for kids and grandkids. A government funded $1,000 or $250 Dell contribution may sound small today, but invested for 18 plus years, it can become a meaningful starter nest egg. If you're already thinking about leaving assets to kids or grandkids, these accounts can be one piece of that puzzle, alongside things like 529 plans, custodial accounts, or trusts. Third thing, coordinating with your will or your trust. If you're planning to contribute your own money into Invest America's accounts, or you expect these accounts to grow significantly, you want your will or trust to line up with that. You don't want a situation where your will says one thing, your beneficiary or ownership setup says another thing, and your family has to sort out the mess. I'm not saying that you need a particular document. That's for you and your advisor to decide. But the point is, your decisions about kids' accounts, college savings, and long term investing should be coordinated with your estate planning so everything is rowing in the same direction. So, of course, I'm going to give you the full picture. So, what are some of the trade offs or downsides to Invest America? Okay, first of all, the Invest America accounts have an annual contribution limit of $5,000, which we've talked about already. Let's compare this to a custodial account. Just looking at one of the types of custodial accounts that are available in the US, if you open, for example, the Uniform Transfer to Minors Act, the UTMA custodial account, and you wanted to gift the beneficiary money into that account, for 2025, a single donor can contribute up to $19,000 per child to that UTMA account without gift consequences. So you compare that to the 5K, 5K versus 19K. That's a big difference. You're talking about almost a 4x difference there in the amount that can be contributed to that account. And that's of course a big difference too, based on assuming that the money is going to grow with the market. That's a huge difference. Second trade-off is the tax advantages for Invest America accounts are reportedly not as generous as some other tax rates that you'd have on some accounts. Like some accounts may have a capital gains tax rate that would be more advantageous for, especially when you hit certain larger amounts of money. So that's another thing to consider. That's another trade off there. Um, there might be other trade offs also, but these are two right now that financial experts immediately identified on Invest America when they thought about other kinds of accounts. Again, you can have the Invest America account in addition to other accounts. So, instead of thinking of it as a replacement, you may want to think of it just like an extra account to have if you choose to complete Form 4547. Okay, so let's go over important dates one more time. Early 2026, there's no definite specific date as of time of this recording. You open the accounts and request a contribution form from the IRS, and it's Form 4547 again. I'm also going to link the Invest America website in the description, and that should help you keep up with the dates as they form and formalize those dates. May 2026, the Treasury Department will send instructions to people who apply for government funded accounts, and those instructions will walk you through activating those accounts. And then July the 4th, 2026, you can start contributing to your kids' accounts. So those are the key dates to look at. Okay, so here's some questions you can ask your financial advisor and or your attorney. The first one is, given the new Investment America accounts and the Dell contributions, does it make sense for our family to open one or more accounts for our kids or grandkids? Second question, if we qualify for the 1K or the $250 seed money, should we also add our own personal contributions to the Invest America account, or are 529 plans and custodial brokerage accounts better for our goals? Number three, how would money in an Invest America account be taxed when it's eventually withdrawn? And how does that taxation compare to other child focused accounts that we already have? Number four, if we open Invest America accounts, how should we reflect them in our overall estate plan, including our will, any trust, and beneficiary designations on other accounts? And number five, are there any state specific rules or programs that interact with Invest America accounts that we should know about? You don't have to ask all five of these questions at once. I would just start with the one that feels most urgent for your family right now to kind of get the ball rolling with your financial advisor. And if this helped you understand the changes to the investment account, to the Invest America accounts, and the Trump accounts any better, please like this video so more everyday families can see it and join my newly launched free Skool community. And comment below on what you're most focused on right now, the $1,000 contribution for newborns, the $250 contribution for kids under 10, or are you just kind of mulling right now over looking at the Investment America account in relation to 529s and custodial accounts? That helps tell me what to cover next. I've also got a video series on the 5 critical documents for US adults, and stressing again that estate planning is not for rich people and it's not for senior citizens. It's really for most adults in the US. And I'll explain all that in that series. And this month, I'm going to break down each document in detail in a video series. I've already covered them in more of a summarized video, but I'll break each document into its own individual video this month. So make sure you subscribe if you ever have questions about probate, wills, power of attorneys, or living trusts. And if you want to keep learning without getting overwhelmed, check out this next video that's being recommended from YouTube. See you next time.